there has been a bit of hype picked up lately in Minnesota, so much so that the national media has caught wind of it, with Kendrick Perkins having this to say the other night after the Timberwolves beat the Milwaukee Bucks.
Do you have them, Perk, as a playoff team this year?
You know what? I do have them as a playoff team. In the West.
Oh boy. Somebody please tell Kendrick Perkins that hasn't even been 2 weeks yet. And so, since the national media has now paid attention to the Timberwolves for once, it must mean that they're right. It must mean the Timberwolves are the up and up. And from what I can see, the answer is both yes and no. With many experts saying that clearly the Timberwolves are still trying to figure things out, and from what I can tell, they have a lot to work on, especially on the offensive end. So I think the most notable win from the season so far, I know it's been 2 weeks, but we still have to talk about it, was against the Milwaukee Bucks. And as impressive as that was, we also have to take into consideration that players were missing for the Bucks, and you had players that were considerably struggling in that game too. Now, the struggles of the Bucks came at the hands of a defense that has steadily improved under Chris Finch, having acquired key pieces and focusing emphatically on the defensive end during their training camp. This team obviously has their defense to thank for them being 3-2 at the moment. Now, since I brought up the topic earlier, yes, let's talk about the Bucks game, because that game was pivotal, as I saw Vanderbilt grab 13 rebounds for the team, which was crucial in them winning that game. And when you saw them play against the Pelicans, you had Valancuinas out-rebounding them a lot of times, having grabbed a total of 14 combined rebounds in those 2 games, and Minnesota was subsequently out-rebounded in those first 3 games, 88-121. Yikes, very bad news. And when you pair Vanderbilt up with a guy like McDaniels, who is perhaps the most versatile defender in that team, it is a small sample size, but we can already see that it's no fluke the way they're playing on the defensive end. But it's no secret that they've been struggling on the offensive end, and they've been really struggling. I mean, guys like Beasley have had a horrible start to the season, and Malik Beasley, having had gone through many tribulations during the summer, he finally had his first good game against Denver the other night, and that game was a very close game that, again, their defense kept them in it, but their offense just wasn't there. Collectively, it was the worst offensive game for the Big Three, and you had Edwards missing a lot of shots, and it was his worst game of the season thus far. And we can clearly see that D'Angelo Russell is still trying to figure things out on the offensive end as well, having to work under the system now that's being built by Chris Finch. And even the team as a whole is trying to figure things out, as the rotation goes as deep as 11 guys being played, and Okogie loses his starting spot after Vanderbilt performs well, and you see his minutes begin to dip. And then you have Vanderbilt also being benched because now you have Beasley come back, and Naz Reid comes in and plays more minutes now. And so clearly they're not sure about their identity, and it shows on the offensive end especially. And things will certainly not be easy, as their next couple of games are going to be tough games, and we'll see them really be tested on both ends. So yeah, basically this team has a lot to work on, and they need to figure it out very quickly, because boy oh boy, a fire is being lit under them as the pressure mounts, and they have to get things rolling to meet people's expectations that they're going to be a play-in team or perhaps even a playoff team. Also, don't forget that Kendrick Perkins is the king of flip-flopping, and that he said this 2 years ago about the same team.
Karl-Anthony Towns, guess what? I'm sleeping, and I'm sleeping with the AC on 60 and the box fan blowing in my face, because guess what? I don't believe you.